7 minutes past 10 Wednesday morning. Thank you for your company, regardless if you're in the car, the kitchen, the cabin, wherever you are around the great southeast. Maybe it's 4RO in Rockhampton, the Resonate Network around Queensland. We are going to hear from Annika Wells very shortly. She's been on the lawns of Kirribilli the lawn of Kirribilli, I should say, with the Prime Minister and the families that were front and centre of the social media ban. We're going to hear from the Communications Minister very, very shortly, but we do have some breaking news in the world of cricket. That's right. Australia have named their squad in the last few moments for the third test in Adelaide. The third Ashes test starts next Wednesday, a week today. There have been changes, or change, I should say. Pat Cummins is in. And that is the only change, a 15-man squad. So that means Usman Khawaja remains in the team. The squad. Michael Neser remains in the squad. Pat Cummins, the only addition to the squad that was here in Brisbane. So a 15-man squad. So there you go. The captain is back, so it seems, poised to return in Adelaide. Usman Khawaja also poised to return. You'd have to think if they have kept him in the squad. 133 882. All thanks to Amaysim. You can escape your pricey telco. Amaysim.com.au. Tell your pricey telco where to go. I've got Brisbane Heat tickets to give away to this hour. We'll do that when we catch up with Richard French for our sport update. In fact, Richard, he's right now at Allan Border Field where the Heat have a media conference. Their star import, Sheena Freedy, he arrived in the country overnight and he is fronting the media today. So we'll hear what the Pakistani paceman has to say from Richard. But right now, I want to introduce you to a member of our team here at 4BC. And he's a young member, and it was actually only this week I found out how young, and it absolutely blew my socks off. His name is Austin Pollock, and he is 17 years of age. He's about to go into grade 12. But he is working here at 4BC as part of our team, and he's worked on different shows over the journey. And again, I had to do the double check. I had to do, show me your license. It was like I was a social media platform. You 17. His ability to read and grasp politics, current affairs, and news, it's like he's 17 going on 37. Had he been a few months younger, though, he would never have, come across our radar, and he would not have had the grasp of politics and current affairs that he's done. I've dragged him out of the production chair into a studio chair. Austin, good morning to you.
Hello, Benny. Thanks for having me in.
17 years of age. Goodness me. You're about to go into grade 12.
I am. I've never been described as a 35-year-old man before, but, it's okay. It's okay. Pricey called me 15 the other day, so it's not too bad. But, yeah, so I'm 17 at the moment. I'll be going into grade 12 next year. And, I mean, had I been a couple of months younger, I wouldn't be in this job right now. I would have had none of the opportunities that I've had, yeah.
Step us through that. Step us through how you came across the 4BC radar and how social media played its part.
So, look, I've always had a passion for news, right, since I was about 5 years old. If you go onto my dad's iPad, you'll see the amount of videos. It's just me taking selfies of myself, pretending to read the news and stuff. Then when I was about 12 or 13 years old, I created a YouTube channel, right? That's part of this ban. YouTube's gone, except YouTube Kids, but you can't really post anything on that newsworthy. So I created my own YouTube channel and I started posting on that.
What type of stuff would you post?
I would often present little news bulletins with my grandma Pauline. And I just love news, right? So I would just make my own bulletin on the weekends, post that, try to do it weekly and stuff. And I did that for about a couple of years. I created a Twitter account. It was then called Twitter, now called X, of course. And then through that, I met this kid called Leo Puglisi. He runs 6 News in Melbourne. It's a fairly big-ish organisation for a teenager to run. And then it was through that I worked there for about 5 years or so, filing reports each week. I interviewed Albo and Chris Foley as well. And I mean...
So hang on, how old are you interviewing the Prime Minister and the Premier?
That was this year. So I was 16 at the time this year.
Okay.
And when I interviewed the Premier, Stephen Miles, when I interviewed him, I was only 15. So no social media. We wouldn't have been able to post that content anywhere. I would have seen Stephen Miles on the street. I walked up to him on the street. This was on the day that Anastasia Palaszczuk and him switched over in December 2023. And I walked up to him on the street. I said, hey, can I have a chat? And he said, yeah. And I wouldn't have been able to post that on social media. It would have just gone into my camera roll somewhere.
You know you're a unicorn, right? A teenager who actually is engaged with current affairs, news, politics. Like that I understand that is not the everyday, but has that come through? Like, how have you absorbed that? Are you sitting down watching the news at 6 o'clock every night, listening to 4BC, or are you getting the majority of that content on social media?
Yeah, of course, listening to 9 News and 4BC. And
it's all right. You've got a job.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And also, of course, social media. And that's the same for all kids my age and same for kids underage. I mean, we're told in school all the time, right? Become informed people, listen to what's happening in the world. But you can't do that because times are changing, right? Kids are getting their news from social media. I mean, most of my news I see watching clips from 9 News on YouTube or on Twitter or on Instagram and stuff, or TikTok. That's how kids are getting it. So if the government wants us to stay informed with current affairs, stay informed with politics, we're not going to go back to watching the nightly news because it's not the 90s, it's not the early 2000s and stuff, right? Social media is here. And Australia, I feel like we're being cut off from the rest of the world. This isn't happening in the rest of the world. Kids these days and kids our age and younger are going online and looking at social media and they're joining the conversation as well. And that's something I want to quickly touch on because getting rid of social media, it's also getting rid of their voice to have their say. Because how else are they supposed to, I mean, without coming on radio or being interviewed on TV, how else are they supposed to have their say? I mean, older people are still allowed to be on social media and have their voices put out and tweet. And I mean, Piers Morgan's quite vocal about the Ashes, and it's good to see how sad he's become. But
and mate, to be fair, it's people my age that are the worst.
Yeah,
with the comments and having a voice. But back to teenagers having a voice. Is that what you feel and you grasp is your ability to express yourself?
Exactly right. Exactly right. And
will you find different ways to express yourself now?
Well, I mean, if you have a look at what's in this ban, it's YouTube, it's TikTok, it's Snapchat, it's X, it's Instagram.
Yeah.
It's everything under the sun. I think Facebook's banned. I mean, the only things that aren't banned, I think, are Roblox. And Roblox is one of the most cesspit places to not have to still be on. I mean, it is a disgusting place that they still have Roblox around. I mean, if you just Google Roblox stories, there are some disgusting stories about what's happened, but they're focusing on banning apps like Snapchat, which I mean, kids my age, I got Snapchat when I was, I think, 14, and my parents didn't actually know about that, but I got it when I was 15, according to them. But you use it to talk to your friends. And Australia, we're a massive country, right? We have friends, all across the country that aren't as close to us. And if you want to stay connected with them, how else are you going to do it? You still have text messages, sure, but it's not the same. You can't see a reel or something and send it to them anymore. And it's how we are connected, right? I mean, back in the 90s and 80s and back in your day, dare I say.
That was the 90s and 80s, just careful.
You would have, watched TV and spoken about a TV show that you saw and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the same nowadays. We talk about a reel we saw. We talk about a trend that's online.
I would argue it actually is the same, but your TV is in the palm of your hand. That's your screen. And
exactly.
And look, I like so many of my media colleagues are a living example of no one's sitting down watching less and less people now are sitting down and watching the 6 o'clock news because 6 o'clock, it is not the 1970s, 80s. No one's working 9 to 5 anymore.
No.
6 o'clock is not a home time sitting around the dinner table watching the news. It's a ridiculous time.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that, but it is a ridiculous time to have the news. I mean, news is happening on social media, regardless of what age you are. If Adam Reynolds busts his knee at Broncos training at 10 o'clock, that's out there at 10:05.
Exactly.
Waiting for 6 o'clock to come around is ridiculous. Anyway, off my soapbox, back to you. Your cohort at school. I know this ban doesn't affect you personally, or maybe it does actually, because you'd have mates who are a little bit younger. How are you communicating with them now?
Well, I mean, some of
do you have
people
phone
that
numbers?
used to work at 6 News, they're still under 16. You have to go back to text messaging, but there's something that's not the same, right? You can still text message people, that's great, but as I said, you can't send a reel, you see. You can't, it's not the same point as being able to snap. Like, we've grown up with this technology, right? And I mean, you guys grew up with different technology, but this is the technology that we've been given and grown up with, and that's just been taken away. And I mean, I will say this, I said this to you in the production office earlier, you don't teach a kid to swim by throwing them in the water when they turn 16, right? You don't rock up to the DTMR when you're 17 and get your license. No, you practice not before that, and
you get a taste of it, you get experience of it. So all of a sudden it's not big and daunting and some big barrier of like, oh, I can't do that until I'm this particular age.
When you're 16, you're not going to automatically switch overnight like that. You're going to be more mature. You're going to know how social media works. Why would they not focus on more education about social media and pushing that in schools, pushing that message instead of ripping away connection? Because, I mean, people go to these places, right, to feel connected. Social media is about connection. And when you want to talk about, issues that you have in common, whether it be anxiety and things like that, you go to social media to find your clique, your group, that maybe if you're in a regional area, how are you going to connect with people through a follow on who's in the metro area who might be going through the same experiences as you, if that makes sense. And
oh, no, 100%
it just doesn't seem like they've thought about this to the right way. It seems like it's a really great policy that looks great on paper. It's a great PR stunt, but why Albanese in a suit is telling kids age 16 and under what they can and can't do in a democracy in Australia, it really makes you think.
Austin, 17 years of age, again, a couple of months younger. We would never have seen his presence on social media. He would never have been able to reach out to 4BC because that's how he did it, via social media. And we've gone, this kid's got something. This kid's got something. Mate, phones are ringing. I need to get you.
Get back out. Get back to my job.
No, but this is part of your job. It's part of communicating. It's part of being the media. And thank you for still flying the flag for your generation of coming through, showing that media and communication, whilst it's changing and there are different platforms, there is still a belief and a hunger to be part of the news and to actually give information to Australia. So thank you, mate, for doing that, but also thank you for sharing your experience and hopefully opening some eyes and starting a conversation.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ben. Thanks for having me in.
There we go. Austin Pollock, so right there, 17 years of age, 133 882 0499 880 882, the 4BC open line, all thanks to Watch Smoke Alarms. 20 past 10, Annika Wells on the other side of this.
You won't have to sit in traffic ever again if you retire. Talk to ABS Business Sales about selling your business today. absbusinesssales.com.au.
There's a crash on the M1 southbound at Helensvale past Dreamworld and delays are back to Ormo, and some roadworks in Stafford on Stafford Road heading eastbound. The left lane's blocked near Ogden Street. There's a breakdown in Murray on the Gateway Motorway northbound just before the Gateway Bridge. And this burst water main continues in the city on Edward Street. It's closed between Ann Street and Adelaide.